All right, welcome back. In this video, we'll define the arctangent function. To define the arctangent function, we start with a tangent function and apply the logic of subsection 1.2.1. So we'll do exactly the same thing we did for arcsine, but we'll do it for arctan. So let's start with a graph of tangent. All right, so tangent has these vertical asymptote at pi on 2, 3 pi on 2, minus pi on 2, and minus 3 pi on 2. Up, up. Right, so and it keeps going. So this is tan of x. And so what I'll get if I switch the role of x and y, I'm going to get 0 pi. I'm going to get 0 minus pi here. And instead of having vertical asymptotes, I'm going to get horizontal lines here at y equals pi on 2, y equals minus pi on 2. And the graph's going to look like a sideways tangent. So I'm going to start at minus pi on 2, get to 0, and move on. Yep. And this is not quite in the middle. Let's put it here. All right. So this is what the potential inverse would look like. Of course, it isn't a function, because if I take any vertical lines, it hits in multiple points, and so I don't have a well-defined function. So here, no, tan of x does not have an inverse function. All right. Next question: on which interval could we restrict tan to ensure that it passes the horizontal line test? So if you look at a horizontal line on this graph, it hits every little bits of a tan once, and so really I just have to pick one of the pieces. We like 0, 0, so we're going to pick this piece. And so we're going to use, we will restrict tangent of x to minus pi on 2 to pi on 2. Notice that I'm not going to include the two endpoints because tan is not defined there. So on these vertical lines, tangent is not defined, and so I'm not going to include them. When I don't include the endpoints of the interval, I'm going to use round brackets. All right, that's what universities use, that's what researchers use. Though in high school, sometimes you would see something like this. It means exactly the same thing. I will accept this notation on a test, but notice that when we do web work, it will not understand what you mean. So really, just replace your backwards square parentheses with round ones. So round means excluding. All right, so we're ready to define the arctangent function. The arctangent function is the inverse of the function tan of theta for theta in minus pi on 2, pi on 2. So it's really close to what we did for arcsine. Arcsine, we just included those minus pi on 2 and pi on 2 because those were real points on the sine graph. It isn't part of the tan, they're not part of the tan graph, so I cannot include them.